I'd like to call this meeting to order. If we could get a roll call, please, sir.
Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Service Committee Chairman, Mr. King,
Yes, here.
Mrs. Black, Mr. Connor,
Here.
Mr. Doherty, Mr. Brown,
Here.
Ms. Haddon, Mrs. Jones,
Here.
Ms. Schaefer,
Here.
Mr. Slater,
Here.
Ms. Thomas,
Here.
Superintendent Dr. Robertson. Here.
Thank you. And hopefully we've all had a great start. I'm going to pass the gavel down to my associate, Mr. Slater, and we'll get the athletic side done.
Thank you very much. And let's see. I think Coach James has a slide presentation. Is that correct, sir?
Yes. It's actually fine. First of all, we apologize for my casual appearance. I was best laid plans. I was going to go home, change, and come back, but that didn't work out that way.
At least you don't have on coach's shorts.
Well, there you go. There we go.
Hey, and I'm going to give you a compliment.
All right. Well,
In that attire, you've lost some weight.
a little bit.
Nice
Yeah,
job.
a little bit tighter clothes.
I wish I could.
Yeah, just tighter clothes. All right. So we'll go ahead and, if I go to our first slide, Dr. Sharp was going to do a brief introduction. Oh, the clicker, that's right. Let's see, the plus. This is our commitments. Every student learns, every student belongs, every school equipped, every employee valued, and every community served. Our athletics, looking at the overall budget, and just kind of give you a little bit of background. This is based off last year's numbers, and this is predicting we've been averaging about a 1% to 2% increase annually in participation district-wide. We offer 22 sports across the district. Do the math on that, that's quite a few coaching positions. Estimated somewhere in around the 8,000 student mark that we have participating in athletics. And if we continue that trend that we've had since post-COVID, it should, we're giving kids more and more opportunities. Right now we have, I think last year was 989 coaches that covered 1,538 coaching positions within our district. A lot of times you think, well, there's not that many coaches. That 1,538 positions, 1,000 people is a significant investment that we make as a district. Our total budget estimated right now, and I say estimated because we're waiting on approval for this, but would be $5.3952 million. That's an increase over last year of roughly 1.1 million. And I'm here to address how that 1.1 is going to be right now, what our proposed distribution of that additional 1.1 is. All right, our total stipends and benefits eat up the majority of that 5.3. As you can see, 4.781 and some change is for stipends. That's the line that includes stipends, Social Security, retirement, etc. So that's the vast majority. Other supplies and materials, 159,000. That allows us to provide sand for the fields, infield dirt. If we've got a torn backstop netting, if there's any type of with a lot of our middle schools, they have trouble sometimes providing equipment for themselves. When it comes to contact sports like helmets and things like that, we will help out on occasion in those type of things. Give you an idea, I think last 2 years ago, we distribute over $30,000 just worth of sand alone. And of course, with the price of fuel and everything going up, it costs more annually for us to do those type of things. All right, our contracted services, as you can see, Erlanger Sports Medicine. We have athletic trainers at each one of our high schools throughout the district. No, we don't right now. We've got a couple of schools that are waiting for their new trainers to finish onboarding through Erlanger. But once we have that, that's at roughly $30 a student or $35 a student cost this year. That comes up to roughly $140,000. our software, which is a Better Way Athletics, which provides our training platform, coaches education, AD education, also our bullying and harassment and hazing education for our student athletes and coaches. Costs us $35,000. And then right now we have in-service staff development earmarked with $6,500. Oh, all right. So I know I've talked. I've ran through this quickly. If you have any questions, I will do my best to answer those questions. As I told our committee chair, Mr. Slater, is my intention is to be the best steward I can of the funds that the school board has voted to provide. And there's also that school actually skipped the school funds for transportation and security, which is also another big chunk, right at $260,000, where we're providing school, each middle school and each high school amount of money to help with those increasing costs of public safety, security at high school, middle school events, and also transportation for athletic events.
I've had emails from some parents basically stating, are you paying for all the transportation? And I would write back and say, no, we're trying to help. We know it's not enough.
Absolutely.
But, we are trying to help. And that was part of the 1.1 million.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's also, and I'm missing something here from the total stipends and benefits. A couple of things we were trying to do in equalization platform is to bring up, raise up our spring sports, which were traditionally underfunded. Not underfunded, but we gave a very it was much lower stipend than we gave our football coaches. And these are the soccer coaches. Gary King, former soccer coach, mowed his field, had to line his field, and we've got a basketball coach that has to mop a gym floor. So we thought that bringing those spring sports who have to maintain fields was going to cost us right about $350,000.
And that had not been changed in, I think if my memory's serving
19.
right, 29 years?
I think 1998
Yeah,
maybe.
it's like 29 years or so.
When that.
None of
And-
that's been changed.
yeah, and then we're looking at another additional $350,000, which would go toward equalization of our classified employees. That if you look at our old stipend fee, a middle school assistant baseball coach, I think, made $250 under the old stipend model, where a non-faculty person would come in and probably make about $1,500. So we were working to do that as well.
So will you get us those numbers?
I have Miss Jones is first.
Okay. Okay.
Question, he answered one about the, is that covering the full amount? But you mentioned there will be a certain amount for school funds for transportation and security. You mentioned there's a certain amount that will be going to middle schools and a certain dollar amount that will be going to high schools.
That is the plan, yes, ma'am.
So part one of that question is, do we know that dollar amount? And is that evenly, so is Dalewood gonna get 10,000 and Ooltewah's gonna get 10,000? And then is every middle school gonna get 10,000? Every high school's gonna get 10,000? What does that look like?
Okay, so to start with, what we're talking about is 10,000 per each high school and 5,000 for each middle school. And then there's some adjustment in there, like if a high school maybe doesn't have football. So that's a $2,000 deductible at the high school level, and then $1,000 at the middle school. That's where we're looking at. We have some schools that only have one sport. Yeah, that's probably, looking at going back, not probably, but that's $1,000 to them to help out with the security or transportation for that one sport.
Okay.
So that is the plan.
Okay, and
Now,
then.
I will also say we do have another line item budget that traditionally, for our at-risk schools, we've done on a per pupil basis, where we send out, we get a little discretionary pot where we can send out additional funds to, like our Orchard Knobs and East Lake Academies. And those that are above that 90% poverty rate, we will send out a per pupil share of that. Used to be $20,000. It was cut last year's budget down to 8, but there will be additional funds for those schools that have that high poverty rate.
Okay. Second to that, Larry almost took my mind away. Second to that, I know that, like we said, we can't cover it all, so the help looks like what we've talked about, the 10 and the 5. Aside from that, there are some schools where they, like I mentioned this last board meeting, you ride by and there's 30 signs lined up on their gate, and there's some schools where there's nothing lined up on their gate. No, this wasn't at the board meeting, this was at board retreat. And I know that Ms. Schaefer mentioned about getting community support and business support, and then I know that we now have Mr. Slater as this athletics committee lead. I guess my question to the two of you are you all gonna look at what that looks like to help schools that don't have the booster support or the mechanism or the template to do that? Are y'all gonna look into what that could look like to help those schools in finding their own supplementation to what we can't do as a district? You don't have to answer that for me now, but you can, I mean, if you can, great, but if not, something to think about.
What we talked about is each board member creating an action item for this year for their district. So if that's something that a board member wants to create for their community action item, then they can do that. Just, it's gonna depend district by district.
Okay, so Mr. Slater, would you be looking at helping find like Stellar Booster Company clubs to like help come in, like say, hey, we do this? I mean, I feel like at some point,
All I gotta do is ask me. We set up a Trojan fund at the Saudi Daisy High School.
right,
It was
but I'm
pretty
saying,
easy.
okay. Way to avoid the question. Never mind.
I think
Mr.
I would-
Coach James,
yeah.
is that something
Yeah.
that maybe if people had, that you
I
could
would be-
connect them to people, because clearly people
Right.
want to avoid a question.
So we have, Angie Nye is in charge of our bookkeeping. So there is a procedure for setting up school support organizations. I would be more than happy to share ideas that I've gathered over the years of ways to raise funds and what that procedure looks like with anybody that showed interest. But we would have to go through those preliminary steps of setting up school support organization to do that through, because as a school, we generally don't, as a school, go out and sell.
Gotcha. I was just thinking trying to think innovatively about how we still liberate the playing field, for lack of better terms, because there are some schools that get more boosters and sponsorships than others.
Right.
And hence, I mean, that's why, nevertheless. Secondary, the athletic, so under total stipends and benefits, it says athletic director stipends, but that also includes the $350,000 for the coaches. Did I misunderstand that?
Yeah, well, there's actually, there's right at $760,000 of the total pay of the 538, whatever it was. 760,000 of that is going toward spring sport coach equalization, classified coach equalization, and then that $60,000 item is for athletic director stipends.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Thomas.
I have a question. So I'm looking at this 1 point allocations. Can you tell me why certain schools got $15,000 and the other schools got 10? And I know this one school got, I guess they don't have any sports, so they got like CCA and they got $1,000. So am I looking at like Lookout Valley and Sail Creek got 15,000? I don't.
Okay, so.
I
so-
can answer that. if
Oh,
you want
Okay,
to.
Mr. Slater.
Those are middle high schools. So the middle
Oh,
school gets 5 and the high school gets 10, so
Okay.
that's why it's lumped into 15.
Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Joe Smith.
If I'm a baseball coach at Hickson, do the baseball coach at Howard, or do they make the sign?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it's, so.
Well, yes or no, sir. If they're both certified teachers,
Yeah,
then their percentage that they're going to get this year would be 15%. But that's based off of their base salary. So if you've got somebody with a master's or EDS that's coaching at Hickson and someone that's coaching with a bachelor's only at Howard, that amount could be different, but the percentage is the
okay,
same.
so it's not a flat dollar amount, it's based.
No,
on
no,
their-
sir. Correct.
on
Yes,
their-
on their years of experience and their degree level.
All right. My other question, on the software, What kind of utilization, are the coaches really using that?
Yes, sir.
How do you-
I think
how do you know? How do you know?
we track it. There is actually a dashboard there to see how many hours of, and I'm thinking we accounted last year for almost 5,000 hours district-wide of development. Coaches watching the courses
And parents too?
and parents, kids, yes. Now, that's primarily at a high school level. It's kind of an ancillary thing we have at the middle school level. We provide that, but it's not stepped on heavily like we do at the high
Is
school level.
Can't say his name.
Heath Esslinger,
Esslinger's
yep,
group?
yes, sir, yes, sir. They are now owned by a company out of Virginia. And what it does, if we go back to the time in Memorial when we had some issues in Hamilton County at Ooltewah, one of the districts of, the opinion of the district attorney is that we needed to have some type of platform in place and a proven education for bullying and hazing, and also coaches' education. And what that does is that provides that mechanism for us as a district and protects us in those situations. We had a situation just last year. Question came in. I said, well, this coach completed this training on this date, and so that's good for us as a district, but it's also good for our kids. And if you go back to when I first took this job, we had 147 ejections in 1 year across the district, whether it was coaches, fans, players, and this year we were down to 42. So the sportsmanship is a big part of the training. Talks a lot about transformational coaching versus transition. The transitional versus transaction coaching. And why are we really here? It makes us, our coaches, examine that part of it. As you well know, Joe, you work with kids for a year. What's your why here? Are you here to win at all costs, or are you that guy wants to make or lady that wants to make a difference in a kid's life? So that's all part of that educational platform. And I would say, as a district, we're paying about probably a quarter of what districts our size are paying, because we were one of their beta tests. So a district our size is probably going to spend somewhere between $90,000 and $100,000 a year for the same services we're getting.
I would encourage y'all, Dr. Robertson, the district to promote that to parents. Parents ought to see this too.
Right.
And, but they
Yeah, it's
probably
required. So
don't
the way
know
we
what
do
you
that
see.
is every school is required, and this is, once again, primarily at the high school level. Every school is required to have a fall sport parent meeting, a winter parent sport meeting, and then a spring. And they're supposed to share this information and get the parents signed up. One of the other things we do is when we have situation with players, parents, coaches, we also assign courses, or I do from my office, we assign remediation for those individuals that have had issues at events. So.
Mr. King?
Yeah, I was going to share something for Jackie maybe, and Karitza, if it might help. So I came from a Chamber of Commerce meeting today. Chambers are on the same schedule as we are. Fiscal year started July, so they're redoing goals and that. One of the things the Chamber has done, the Chamber has an education outreach program, and they are each chamber, and there are 9 different chambers. Even though we're in 11 districts, there's only 9 chambers. But each chamber has an educational, and they changed the terms today. Instead of projects, they are calling them initiatives. And those things that you were talking about where, the signs for the ball fields and that, you could get your, whoever your Chamber of Commerce for your district involved. And when they know that it's something that's going to help kids with safety or travel or whatever, that falls under the initiatives that they can do. And we've been, the school board, the central office has been helping with Enterprise Gateway, which is District 9's Chamber of Commerce. And we've put, over the last couple years, a couple huge projects in play. But the big projects, they're stepping back away from that, and they're looking at things just like this, and that's what made me think of it. And I'm going to bring it to my Chamber of Commerce, but, you know, and it might just be one sign on the thing, but it might be more than one sign, because depending on your chamber, that could be a link to 30 different businesses. So,
Thank you.
yep.
And you can talk to your commissioner in your district too, to help with that. Ms. Schaefer?
Thank you, Gary, for sharing that from today's meeting. Dr. Robertson, is that something that we could, in our community outreach push for this year, include
Yeah,
the chambers?
I definitely think we could, and I think, you know, what Ms. Jones is asking to, we probably need to offer some support to schools that are putting together booster clubs, not only how to put them together, but also how to market it. We'd probably get our comms team involved in this. Almost every school goes out and gets people to donate money for signs, but there is a big disparity of, like, you know, school A may have 50, school B may have 10. So part of it could also be us connecting those organizations with the school, but it certainly could be.
Yeah,
Well, and some schools are even, I mean, they're bumping heads with each other,
yes.
because the football team's going for these signs and the soccer team's going for these signs. And as a school, they ought to be working together. But right now, we've got separate boosters that, you know,
In some cases,
Right.
some schools you've
In
got them
some-
working really well together, and
Yes.
others you don't. Some of that has to do with longevity of staff and people who know what they're doing, and so I think that's where Coach
That's right.
James' expertise can help organize some of that. And then, of course,
Exactly.
Mary Ellen's done a great job of working with school support organizations. So what I hear the request is, how do we assist in not only getting them set up properly, but also helping them recruit potential sponsors?
So this is something.
Because I
we
won't
can-
be here to talk to my commissioner after Thursday. Slater,
Somebody will be here.
don't be smart, you know what I mean?
Being smart.
So as I was saying, that's something, as we're going forward and casting our vision from community outreach and input into our schools, that is something to put as a potential project for each district, and we can loop in Coach James into those discussions.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I have
Well-
one follow-up question.
Okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
The shot clocks.
July wasn't on.
That's
Yes.
for every district.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Every school, because it's coming down the pipe for everyone. Where are we at in that?
I've been in the process of getting quotes from various companies. We may have to kind of take this thing, kind of like eating an elephant, may have to take it a bite, maybe do half of our schools this year, because we're looking at probably $80,000 to $100,000 to implement the shot clocks. I'm also exploring options for maybe a sponsor for those shot clocks, somebody that would help offset that cost. You know, just put a little logo or whatnot on that. That's something that was brought to me first thing this morning, so I've got to take that up the ladder to Mary Ellen and through Dr. Sharp, of course, and our procurement as to what the limitations on that particular piece are.
I just wanted to keep that in everybody's mind, that this is a new requirement that we have to do.
Right.
So,
starting this year.
No.
We have 3 years. In other words, we have this year, next year, but beginning the 28-29 school year, we have to have those. That's the new state requirement.
It's 100,000 per shot. per
No,
school.
no, ma'am, it would be for the total district, for
Oh, okay.
all the high, and it's just for high school. They've implemented only at the high school level. So we would have to take all of our high school main gyms and make sure there's a shot clock on there.
I like the way the TSSAA just rolls that out
Yeah.
and,
No
and
financial.
says, you know, you got to do this and no financial support.
But, you know, ironically, they have held off on the play clocks in football in the state, and they just left it up to each school as whether or not they want to have that 40-second, 25-second/40-second clock. Several of our high schools do. A lot of just said no because you have to pay $80 extra per game to have that official there. The state has partnered with a company called Whistle Stop, and everything becomes automated. The official on the floor has a little remote control, and so, or on the football field. We're looking into that as well.
Well, some of the old football officials couldn't even count to 40, Joe.
Hey, wait a minute, wait a minute.
I tell you what, he can count to 15 though.
Yeah, he could step off those 15
I
yards.
guarantee you can. I may have experienced that.
You gave me a lot of experience with that.
Okay, I don't see any more lights. Anybody got anything else they want to ask Coach James?
Well, I know we've got several board members that are sitting here. They're going to be rolling off. I want to personally thank you for your service to the students and the community of Hamilton County. You know, thank you for all you've done. And you'll be missed. I know you'll come around. I'll see you around.
Absolutely, I'm ready for it.
All right. All right. Thank y'all.
Right over there.
Okay, thanks, Coach. I don't think there's anything else unless somebody has any questions for me. Then I tell you what, let's take about 5 minutes and then we'll hand this back over to Gary. Bam.
if we can head back to our seats, we'll get this second part started. All right, so our facilities committee meeting will start, and first on it, we have a presentation from ABM. And board members, you have those in front of you. There's two different ones. I'm not sure if it'll be one total presentation or two separate.
No, one presentation is what everyone else is using. There's a husband photo on front.
Oh, okay, all right.
This is the one with the.
This the one, so this the one right here.
All right, ready? All right, so my name is Kyle Gribble. I'm a Senior Regional Director of Ops for ABM.
You who? Say it again.
Kyle Gribble.
Kyle.
Kyle, yes. Is that better there? Good. All right, so I appreciate y'all letting us come, and I know we wanted to recap last year as well as our summer and getting ready for the new school year. So I'll go ahead and start. We always like to start our meetings off with a moment of safety. So just real quickly, everything we do revolves around ensuring our team members go home just as they came in, and that's safe. So we'll make sure that our working stations are safe. The schools are safe, obviously, as you want that to be for the staff and the students. That's also our goal with our hourly team members. A moment of culture. Appreciation can make a day, even change a life. Your willingness to put into words is all that is necessary. So we like to, as we walk in the buildings and building that rapport with our custodians, we want to show them we appreciate them, because without them, there is no ABM. So we want them to know we appreciate the work, their attendance, and those that are taking pride in performing a satisfactory service for the school district. Just a picture of our senior leadership. Represented tonight is myself and Mr. Dennis Willis. And this is my team that makes it happen. And these ladies and gentlemen are also here present with us today. They are the reason that I feel like we had a good summer clean, and a lot better than we had last year. I know, a year ago, y'all invested in us, voted us in to provide that service for you. We know that we had some challenges last year as getting in for the first 2 months of getting to school, building a new team, starting with management. And honestly, there were 4 of these managers that are currently here that were here last year. They were just exposed to the district last year as well, June 1st. And I think they've done a lot better job this year than last year. I hope you've been hearing that throughout the district. But we have a strong team, and they're taking pride in their appearance, and following up and talking to their principals, being present, talking to their employees. So I'm really proud of the team I have here. You see on Zone 2, we have Dennis Willis. He's just filling in recently, but we also have another manager that just started today, actually. His picture's not on there. His name is Marvin Roseberry. He'll be taking on the Zone 2. Marvin, if you'll raise your hand. His picture's the one not up there, but he's part of the team now, so we are, have a full management team there.
So,
What zone?
Sorry. Zone 2. Oh, it's our East Ridge. East Ridge Brainerd is the Zone 2. Sorry.
so what happened to Mr. Willis?
He's right there.
Okay,
Mr. Willis wears a lot of hats, so he.
okay, so he's
He's
changing
here.
hats.
He's
this
here.
time.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
He wears all
Nice
the
seeing
hats
you
when
again,
he needs to. Yes, sir. All right. So this is what makes ABM different. Like we see Hamilton County Schools as not as a customer but as a partner, and we take pride in ourselves in our management presence and our partner relationships. And what I mean is, we meet with Dr. Sharp and Ben regularly. I know Dennis and Ben talk probably almost every day, multiple times a day. I live in the Nashville area, and I'm here one day a week. I've been here like every week for as long as I need to, or sometimes maybe every 2 weeks, but usually I'm here for a day or two, following up in schools, walking with Dennis, walking with the managers. Then my boss, the other 2 guys on there, Kent Armstrong and Chris Thomas, they also come, and they're here regularly to support the team, see what needs to happen. If a principal, provides feedback if something needs to be addressed, or if Dr. Sharp or Ben does it, we also make sure that we take priority and we support our team to get to a resolution to make sure that we provide a satisfactory service. Our goals, changing the culture. That's what we had to do coming in last year. And it's still an ongoing process, but we're trending in the right direction. And I think that's been evident throughout the district. We want our team members to feel supported. That's why I said the moment of culture, just showing them that we appreciate them, that we appreciate them being here, making sure they have what they need to operate and provide an efficient service for their assigned areas. And want to hold them accountable. Not only our management being present, but also our hourly team members were regular attendance, make sure they show up, not just for a check, but show up to provide the service we need to. And also, in order to change the culture, is our trainings that we have. We've taken advantage of fall break, Christmas break, spring break, summer break to do some training to change the mindset of some of the past performances and just the ABM way, and just trying to make sure we support them in that. The only way we can do it is make sure we have trainings and meetings, and in those trainings and meetings we have we provide them with lunch. We do things like that to kind of show some appreciation with them. We are resuming our employee appreciation program. We're only as good as our frontline team members. That includes management and our hourly team workers. We'll start having a quarterly manager recognition. The manager who has performed the best, in terms of our SMART inspections, our monthly surveys, our quarterly surveys in the district, feedback from the principals, all those things. We'll use that to recognize an outstanding manager. We'll do Employee of the Month. We'll do it by zone. We've got 8 zones, so we'll do that as well. Provide them a certificate and then a bonus on their check when they get paid. Also, we'll do School of the Month, and that will reward them with a certificate and provide them with dinner or lunch, depending on how we can coordinate that with the teams, as they work their shifts each day. I thought you had a question, sorry. Just a recap of the start of the school year. Compared to last year, I think we had a really successful start to the school year this year. Talking to my team, we have the QR codes that we put in place last year. We had minimal feedback that was submitted this year, and I think that's a really good look for us. And we're going to continue building on that momentum. Now, we'll go through the zones here shortly and talk about some specifics, but I think overall, we had a really good summer clean in terms of having them ready for day one. And that not only comes from just me talking to my team, it also comes from some principals talking to my team, Dr. Sharp and Ben as well, just give us feedback that, the negative is a lot less than what it was before. And while we know we're not perfect everywhere, we are trending in the right direction. And that's what it's about. As a boss in my position, I know things are not going to be perfect. I'm a realist. I know that out of 81 buildings, everything's not going to be perfect. And there's not going to be a time where we don't have some issues that we need that arise. But to hear that my managers are present, my teams are getting better, the training's quality. When I hear those things are getting better, that's encouraging to myself because I'm not here every day, and I take that from these guys back here and also from our district contacts, just hearing some positives. Because a lot of times we hear more the negative than we do positive. So to hear some positives is definitely encouraging to us, and that we can continue in the same direction. All right, so here's their overall operation. This is compiled of information over the last school year. So you'll see the top left corner is the Hamilton County Schools Quarterly Survey. This is a survey that is sent out by the school that the principals are asked to complete. And obviously quarterly is going to be four months worth. So you see the participation and you also see the grade. So we're looking at being like an 85 as that threshold where we feel like it's satisfactory, and that's in terms of our inspection that we do internally through Smart Inspect, our ABM surveys and the district surveys. And you see there, we are right around that 85, a little higher. That is from the district surveys. And you see the participation there, which is right around 50%, except for that last one in May. The next one to the right of that is the Smart Inspect. This is a requirement by the contract to provide these to every school should be inspected every 2 months. We have Mr. A.J. Arnetta Jones who performs these for us, as well as the company comes in. I know Ben walks around with them, and they perform the inspections as well. So you see we completed 358 overall. The average, we did have a low month in September, but overall the average from the inspectors is 86.3, so we're right around that 85 that was our goal. To the left of that, you see QR code activity. This is the program that we put in place where we have a QR code throughout the district, throughout every building. So if teachers, administrators have issues with, if a room wasn't cleaned well or any feedback they want to provide from the school, they can provide it there. You know, we did almost 4,500 QR codes that were submitted last year. These QR codes go to the manager of the assigned school, as well as, you know, Mr. Dennis Willis, who is the senior guy. So we get those directly as soon as they're submitted, and then we can address those with the custodian responsible for the area, and follow with the principal, the area, the teacher, whoever has submitted that request. To the right of that, we have the quarterly survey average that are under 85. So we always love, we want to showcase the positive, but we also want to recognize the challenges that we have. And here shows 20 schools in the district that were under 85 for the year in the quarterly survey. I also have it listed their average, as well as the last column there is a participation. So I think that's something to note too. For example, East Hamilton High, you know, it was an 80, but they only participated 1 out of the 4 times. So that was in August. So I know, and I think you know as well in your experience, that if somebody is upset, they're going to report it. They're going to voice their concern. So I know East Hamilton High is not a perfect school. I'm not going to sit here and say that, but I also know that they only participated in August. So, you know, we only have the first month's participation to go off of there. And you see the other ones down below. I mean, the encouraging part for me, if our score is at least 85 to get to a satisfactory level, we only have one that's under 80, so they're all within 3-4 points from where we need to be. And to me, that's encouraging, knowing that, you know, we've got new managers that have been here for, you know, under a year at the time, and how they started last school year. So it's encouraging that we know we can pull those numbers up to get to where we need to be throughout the entire district. The last piece there is the staffing. We got it split up by zone. We have 9 zones. Actually 8 of them, and the 9 of our support buildings we've listed here. So you see where we're at overall, we're at 91%. So we're about 29 people down. However, if you look to the right of that chart, you see it's got a hiring event we had on July 21st. It was very, very good. Very encouraging from us. We had 117 attendees. Only 105 actually stayed and completed the process, which I think that's really good. Currently, this was as of last Wednesday, we had 25 that had cleared, and another 75 or so that was going through processing. Let's see, 25 of them failed background, and we have 50 currently that are going through the process. Now, realistically, we know we're not going to get all 50 of those employees. We know some of them are going to fall off. Some of them are going to start, fall off. Some of them are not going to clear the background. We understand that. But since Wednesday, I know, and having lunch with the team today, I think there's another 10 or 15 that have actually cleared that we've done new hire orientation from, you know, Thursday, Friday, and today. So that number has changed to the positive, which is definitely encouraging us. So I know our number is a little less than what that 29.5 employees shows there. So I won't go through every single zone just for time purposes. I know y'all have a lot to discuss. So what I've done, and you can see on in your sheet, each zone is split up how we have it set up. And there's about 2 or 3 pages per zone. It breaks it down by zone that shows each school individually and their performance, their feedback throughout the year. You will notice on the ABM surveys, it ended at March and through spring break. You know, April and May, we took our focus into summer clean, you know, planning and doing those things and having that communication with our partners. And then we knew that May was going to provide another quarterly survey from the district. And like I say, each zone has that. So you can see that there's the example from zone 1, and then overall the quarterly survey from HCS. And then it goes by school, showing you your staffing, the QR code activity each month. And it's got that same information for each zone. So I won't go through every zone, but if y'all look through there and you have any questions about your specific, if you see your schools in there, then please ask.
What's the difference between an ABM survey and a SMART inspect?
So SMART inspect are inspections that we go through and do. So
Okay.
the SMART inspect, they're not going to grade the entire school. It's going to be sections that by the inspection software that we have.
So are they looking at the same thing?
They are looking at the same thing, but our ABM one is the entire school. So for example, it has questions such as how your hallways, how your classrooms, generally, like maybe feedback from principals, and those percentages are compiled that way. But the SMART inspect is a specific area. So if it's the men's restroom by the front office, or it's the front office separately, or it's a kindergarten room number 100, that's the SMART inspect goes based that way.
Would you like to field some more questions now, or do you want to wait?
We can have an open discussion now.
Jackie?
Yeah, I looked for your QR code, I'm not sure where it's located in the school myself, cause and this is Zone 6, Orchard Knob Middle specifically.
Okay.
'Cause I utilized the restroom, and I was just wondering why the drainage ditch had plenty, it was just dirty. And I have been in and out of that school all summer, and not
Okay.
pleased with it at
Okay.
all.
And that's
And
Orchard
some-
Knob
Orchard Knob Middle.
Middle, okay.
And some of the trash is still there from this summer, the last time I was there. It's on the outside of the door. I'm just curious, but I'm even more curious about that restroom, where to me, and this is me, could a vacuum cleaner could very well vacuum that middle side. I know it's a pencil in the drainage, and I think there was female products in there that was taken out. So to me, if they took that out, it seemed like they would have at least cleaned that drainage ditch thing, because it just had just dirt all over it. But that's just me. And this was last week when I was in the school.
Okay. And it was a female restroom. Can you tell me
It
what
was
area it
girls'
was?
restroom, first floor to the, coming in the door to the left. That's the only one I noticed there. And then I also got some complaints about the restroom in the office, the main office, that the public use when they may come into the main office. Still got some complaints about that. I don't know if
Okay.
the administration, staff went and cleaned it up, I don't know, but
Okay.
they were complaining about it.
Well, I've noted that here, and the manager is here, so we'll make sure that
Okay.
gets addressed for sure.
So, and the other thing, I think I called Dr. Sharp on it, that was at Woodmore, when I walked down the hall, it smelled of urine, and no one had been there for the whole summer, and stuff was all over the place. So I don't know, I assume they got that cleaned up. When my school just happened to be over there visiting.
When was that again?
It might have been
Early summer, you
I
said?
don't know, whenever I called Dr. Sharp, maybe about a week and a half ago.
Couple of weeks ago, but
Yeah,
Dennis has,
yeah.
Okay.
Dennis
So I
responded
think
that
they
day.
responded, but I was just saying, when you were talking about the summer, no one was there, great opportunity to do it before children came. I don't know if everything was done before children got there or not, but I was concerned, just me walking in there and seeing that.
Okay. Well, if you asked about what the QR codes, each school is allowed to put those up, post them where they want to. So we can put them on every door, every restroom, but the principals kind of dictate and steer us to where they want those things posted throughout the school. So,
Well, I just I didn't think they knew where they were, so maybe that's a question I asked them where the code, how do
Okay.
they get a code? Is there somewhere else they can go to get one, or do you all have one?
we have them, and we've printed them out and laminated them, do what we need to do by school. The schools has helped in some instances where they'll print them out and laminate them for us, and they post them wherever. So we can make a note of Orchard Knob, whoever's got that building, and we'll post some more if we need to.
All right, now
whatever
I
we need to
did go into Orchard Knob Elementary, it was very nice, but that's the newest school, of course. I know it's so much you can do with Orchard Knob Middle, because it looks dirty when it's not, but it was literally, the concerns that I had, it was literally dirty.
do. Okay. We'll definitely make notes of that right here, so thank you for that. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, Larry?
Well, just a comment. Yeah, I was really concerned last year. As you can see from September at Eastridge Middle and High School, it was the worst in the district for the whole year. And let me just say that slowly got corrected. And it wasn't until, later in the year, like in the spring, when it really got better. So what concerns me is how in September it was bad, but it didn't get really corrected until the next February. I'd like to see a little bit faster
Faster, yeah.
action on this, especially when you come in and we get like a 64, which was the worst score the entire year last year. So, when you got that big of an issue, I know you've got a personnel issue, but
Absolutely.
it
Yes,
seems
sir.
like you would jump on that and get it taken care of instead of, waiting for 4, 5, 6 months before you really see some good improvement. So I'd like to see that happen better
Well,
this
we
year.
didn't wait on purpose. Trust me, we tried to get there and get the issues addressed and resolved as quickly as possible. That's also one of the zones that we've, unfortunately, have had more of the management turnover too. So, and we've
I'm
hopefully,
aware of
hopefully we've got, he started today. So we're hopefully that he sticks and that he's the reason why we get that consistently where it is now. Keep on that same level.
Okay.
Any other questions, Ben?
I don't have I guess I do have a question per se, or more so of a comment, and this
Okay.
would include the district staff. So Jackie did call me, Whitmore is one of the schools I represent, but Jackie called me about it, and I told her that throughout the years, it's been up and down with this urine smell in this boys' bathroom, right there at the hall going toward it's the bathroom on the hall going toward the cafetorium, I guess you would call it, because you know, it's like that gym, auditorium, not gym, auditorium, it's auditorium cafeteria.
Okay.
So main hall, cafetorium.
Gotcha.
That bathroom on the right, it'll be on your right-hand side if you were coming from the office.
Okay.
I do know, one principal back from this current principal, her dad was in construction and came over and did some stuff. I'm not sure, speaking to the district staff, I'm not really sure if ABM, SSC, Mr. Clean gonna get that urine smell out of there, because I'm really, and our church was like this, our old church was like this, I'm really starting to think that it's in the floor. So no matter what you use, it's in the floor, but I also think, from my observation, my son was there for pre-K, so that's why I'm very in tune to this boys' bathroom, because I've been in it before with my kids after hours. I'm not sure if the drainage in there is right. Because urine sits in there. But a few times I've been in there, the urine just sitting there. And I mean, I live with two men. One is older, so we don't have that issue. But the 7-year-old, y'all know what that smell like if I ain't in there every night with the awesome Clorox cleanup. So imagine if that's sat there for year after year after year, no matter who cleans it, what they clean. I think it's a drainage issue. I think it's a flooring issue. And so this ain't an ABM issue, but probably I'll bring this up again when we talk facilities in a minute, because I think that the flooring needs to be replaced in there, honestly. And probably needs to be leveled, drains changed, maybe sucked out. I don't know, something might be stuck up in there that's causing it to backflow. I don't know. But it's 12 years it's been on and off. Hit or miss, you gonna smell urine. Real bad. And I don't think Zep urine removal, I don't know, nothing's gonna get that out. So, and I told Jackie that too. I like, Jackie, it does that on and off. So, but I understand her concern, because she a fresh nose in there. So it smell like that then.
And yeah, boys at that age don't aim well.
They don't aim well. They don't.
I sure do.
I believe, like Justin might know more about that, but I will say this, in the contract, they are to address floor drains on a weekly basis, and it's not happening. So it could be an issue at Woodmore with the drains, but if
I know
you're
Mr.
flushing,
Allison he did some work there.
I understand, but if you're flushing a floor drain once a week, the way it's supposed to be done, it's not gonna be that strong, even if the drain's messed up.
It's definitely something we'll look at.
So zone 1, that's my zone. We've had low staffing, and your numbers kind of show that too, from Westview to Eastham. So they're a little bit, below that 85% threshold that you've talked about. So staffing continues to kind of be an issue there. I will say that the response has been good, so I have to brag on Mr. Willis that he does respond to my principal pretty well. But I just wanted to bring up, staffing continues to be an issue. The floors are much better this start of this school year than last.
Much better.
So I will give you that. But staffing is one thing, and then we do have a continual problem with our special needs classrooms, the changing of the diapers.
Okay.
That's something that keeps coming up, and I keep getting messages about. But the main thing is the staffing in that area. And I don't know how you're trying to recruit.
And that's gonna that segues into my question to you. What makes a zone easier to hire? Zone 8 is my zone, which not last year, the year before, had a 76% hiring rate. Now it's up to 91, and East Hamilton zone has dropped to 83. What makes a zone more appealing, or there's got to be something that makes an area?
We are using all resources in all areas to do that. That's why we're trying to have different pockets of job fairs and try to reach them. We've even tried to get employees from other areas to go by, shuttle van. Like, we'll use vans to do that as well.
Okay.
So that zone 1 has been a challenge, but
Who is zone 4?
Zone 4 is up on the mountain.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I would say 100%, so that one.
Yep. And like I said, the hiring event we had on the 21st, most of those positions, if I'm not mistaken, for Zone 1, Chris, they got people that applied for those positions. So I know we probably won't get everybody that's applied, but we got people that specifically applied for those, which means they would be well up over 90, probably the best it's been, I know, since we've been here. So the encouraging piece has been that. And I think last year, hourly employees were kind of hesitant to work for us. I'll be honest with you. You know, we were here, we lost the count, we came back. So I think, and then over the past 4 years, just the vibe of the custodial services throughout the district, I think that plays a part in it. And I really think, this is I wholeheartedly believe that because we're trending upwards, the word of mouth is getting out, and we're trying to take care of our team members. And I think that's getting out. That's why we had such a great turnout in the hiring event. And like I said, I know we have some employees that are not meeting our standards, but we also know we need bodies in those buildings to address at least the basic cleaning. And we're having to hold them accountable all the time. So I think it's definitely on the verge of getting better. And I mean, we're starting the school year, we're at 91%. I can't remember exactly where we were last year, but I know we went at 91% last year at the start of school. And having 50 more people in process, if we get 30, if we get half of them, we are almost at fully staffed. And I know that some may fall off, but it's encouraging to me to see these numbers and the activity from my team with my recruiters and my managers and their presence. It's encouraging to see that we are doing the right things. Now it's been a year and things are getting better. I think it's just going to continue getting better. I really believe that. Just support from you all, but also from us internally for our teams to provide it. If it's increasing wages in different zones, we've had to do that as well too. Like Zone 1 may be a little higher starting wage than Zone 7, for example. So we look at those things and we try to do things that way internally to attract different applicants.
Zone 1 takes a little bit longer to drive to,
That too.
so that could be one of the reasons, so maybe increasing to compensate for that.
Yep.
All right, we'll let you finish, and then we'll have a few more questions I see at the end, but we'll let you
Okay.
finish your presentation.
Well, I'll go ahead and flip through each zone real quick. Like I said, if you want to dig deeper into the schools that you have that information by location there. So let me get to it. All right, the last part is just, like I said, to show the efforts of us trying to make it more of a team atmosphere and appreciation. We had 2 summer, we call them pod trainings, to train on our expectations for the summer. Because last year, yes, we did have a new hire orientation, the week before school started, but to get all those new employees in, show them how to work some of these machines, we had to do a lot of them on the fly last summer. And while a lot of people said, "Oh, I know how to strip floors," well, we get in here and they don't know how to strip floors. It's just the name. That's just how it works. So this year we did have 2 trainings right after school before actual summer started, and we had pod trainings where our managers showed them how to run machines. And even some of our managers, I'll be honest with you, some of them needed to know how to do it because some of them came on part of the team during the school year. So we had to show them how to run some machines. It was really good. Had a great turnout. We had 2 of them, one in Hickson High and one at East Brainerd, to kind of allow for locations and travel. Allow everybody a chance to get to those. And the next few slides, asked my guys to send me some pictures of some good work. And like I said, I know the pictures don't do some of these floors justice because they did a really, really good job. This is my managers who sent me these pictures, and some of them made them look all fancy and did things like this, but I think it's very, very, very good. But it just shows different pictures and how these floors look. We try to put a focus on corners and edges. Last year that was one thing that in the Smart Inspects that we didn't do well because we were trying to fly through the floors last year before school, and that was a focus from all principals. Like my corners and edges don't look good, but the middle of the floor is shiny, but the sides and all that does not look well. Well, that was the main focus, and I think if you walk through the schools, you'll see that we really put an emphasis on that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you every corner and edges was met expectation. We had some schools that didn't meet exactly what we wanted to do. We know that. We've identified those, and we're going to try to work to improve that appearance of those. But overall, I think the team put a lot of work in. They did really good, and you'll see. And I'm proud of a lot of work we did, but this Saudi Daisy, I don't know how many of y'all have been in the Saudi Daisy High School, that lobby, that thing looked bad. It looked really bad. And we stripped that all the way down, and now that looks white. I don't think y'all even knew the floor looked white. I don't think you did. If you did, I'm gonna tell you, you're not being honest with me. So they did a really good job in that floor, and you can see there. And that, if you need to go walking, because that's a showcase piece. I really believe that. And then just different pictures throughout here. Those on your things as well. And the way I want to end is Tyner Middle School. Now, I know you said Tyner's yours, right, Ms. Jones?
Yeah, Tyner is mine.
Okay, you know the challenge we had last year at the beginning of the school year. Very bad. Dr. Williams, you know, he's not hard to work with, but he is going
That's subjective.
but
I mean, I love
he's
you.
going to hold you accountable. He's going to let you know when it's not right. And there obviously, yeah, yeah. There are a lot of principals like that want to hold you accountable. They have a high standard. They all should have it, and we don't want to run from that. But whenever Dennis texts me this, and he sent it to me and Dr. Sharp and Ben about this, and it just says, "Hey, I didn't want anything. This is from a custodian." It said, I was just letting you know today, Mr. William and Mr. Davis pulled us all in a teacher and staff meeting, and they gave us a standing ovation and had us come up on the stage and everything. So it was so nice of them. What Mr. Williams was saying was amazing and shocking, but he's really happy with the school. When I see things like that,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And a lot of principals are saying that. Now, 81 schools, there's 81 personalities. You know, we got to deal with a bunch of different pet peeves throughout everywhere. We're not there yet. So we're not satisfied at the level we are, but we are trending in the right direction, and we're going to get there. I promise you we're going to get there because they want to get there, and they are the ones that are on the floor, the ground every day, putting in that work. I come here once a week. I'm talking to these guys through text message, group text, we have conference calls, all the things. And I know when I leave here, they're going to take care of what's brought to their attention, or they're going to, for the most part, be proactive to try to catch some things before they get to a level where we can't come back from it. And even if we do get to a part to where we're not there, we can do project cleaning. It's just having a conversation with the principals to say, hey, we didn't meet the standards here, we didn't meet the mark here, but what we're going to do is this weekend or over fall break or over Labor Day weekend, we are going to do some project work to improve this one area. We'll do that. Like we're invested in doing that, and we know. Just like teachers and every school, some schools just don't meet it sometimes, you know, and you got to stay on them. You got to put extra attention, and that's what we're all about. We're going to work over the weekends. We'll do what we need to. These guys work 6-7 days a week if they have to, just to make sure that we address that and to give some comfort and confidence to you, to the principals that we're invested in. Even though we missed the mark, we're still going to work to try to get it to where it needs to be, and that's our goal. And so when I see things like this, I mean, it's great for me to read, and it's great for my bosses to read. And I think it's great for y'all to see that, because I was watching your eyes and y'all read that too. It was good for y'all, your reaction. So, and we get a lot of that from principals, and I get it. You know, they see me come and thinking, well, I'm about to complain everything to him. But they also do tell me that things are better, and I can see things getting better. So that's the encouraging part for me as I see as a leader of this team.
Good job. Yeah.
All right, now
We
can
do
do
have
more
one
questions.
last question, Mr. Grum.
I had that answered already.
Oh, okay, thank you. All right, well, thank you very much.
Good?
Good job.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I do just
Yes,
have
ma'am.
something to say. I've also had some concerns with just people indicating that maybe like the night shift may leave something for the morning shift. I'm just this is what, and then maybe the morning shift may get frustrated and
Yep.
just be tired
sorry.
of doing all the work and some. So I think for me, what I've been hearing, there may have been some slacking on some shifts and some,
Well, here's
maybe
my-
conflict. So
My response to that is our managers put together what we call a job slot. So it's taking the floor plan and it's color coded to show which custodian is responsible for what area.
Okay.
So there's a lot of point fingers. You know, they come in there and they'll fight and complain about each other. And if something doesn't get taken care of at nighttime, yes, daytime, the manager may reach out to us, hey, this didn't get taken care of. Can you take care of it in the morning? And I know the day porters don't like doing that because they have their own areas they're assigned to do it. So it's going to be our responsibility to make sure that the principals understand who's responsible for what area. And then that holds them accountable just that alone. So if kindergarten wing's not getting finished, well, we're not going to have the day porter come in the morning and clean the classroom areas because the teachers are coming in at 6:30 or 7. Their main responsibility is maybe the library or the office area where they can get those areas cleaned before school. Now, if it is a classroom restroom area, that's probably something from nighttime. So if they try to point the finger and say it needs to be day porter, no, it's not it. The day porter's responsibility is to carry that radio and to address areas when they're brought to their attention. So if it's a flood in the bathroom, if it's paper towel that runs out in the dispenser, that's when the day porter is responsible for handling that. They're not responsible for cleaning necessarily an area unless, they may come in earlier to get some extra overtime to cover an area somebody was out that night. But we're creative in terms of filling absences or maybe even poor performances from, night cleaning versus in the morning.
Oh, okay, thanks.
So is there a specific location we need to?
No, that was
through-
my
okay.
specific school, but that I've already told you about, but I just wanted to know how your process worked, because that was a lot of blaming people were saying.
Yep. we actually heard that today at another school. So yes, we make sure that we hold them accountable by, one, having the tool that shows who's responsible for what, so we know who's responsible, who's dropping the ball in that area.
Well, to end on a positive note, I know my district, or you call it Zone 8, but was much better this
Yep.
year. I had a lot fewer complaints, so thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for that too. It's a great comment to end the presentation for, right? All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we're gonna get on into some of the different facility things, and Dr. Sharp and Mr. Witt have some information for us. And then if you haven't looked at your agenda for Thursday, there's a couple positions I'm sure you'll talk about today on the agenda for Thursday. Couple of CMARs, I think.
Yes, sir. So really just wanted to, it's a lot of information, but it's good information. I thought, we don't have to go through every line item that we're about to go through with our deferred maintenance, but it's a good snapshot of where we are with our $60 million bond. A lot of projects. We're on our 5th phase currently. And just a good snapshot when you keep your head down and you work and you feel like you're busy, but what's a good measurable? And the measurable for me that I was surprised, we've completed $42 million worth of projects in a year and a half. So not only a big kudos for our maintenance team, but also I texted Mary Ellen last week. That's a big lift for purchasing, accounting, all those invoices. But that's basically a mid-sized construction company's revenue on top of maintenance and everything else we do. So proud of you, proud of everybody, appreciate it. Thank you. Again, won't go over all these, just hit a couple of highlights, kind of tying in with athletics. One jumps out there for me is the gym bleachers there at Cell Creek. Got a season in already. Brick repair at Saudi High. That was a major. Really
Where is Saudi High?
Saudi Daisy High.
Oh, thank you.
I did that for you.
Okay. Saudi High was torn down in 1937, I'm just saying.
Again, a lot of sports items here. We got Signal Mountain track resurfacing, turf field, and just any questions here. I just want to zip through these. Orchard Knob, we got the gym bleachers in. We're finishing up the floor. It's looking really good.
Hey, can you explain, I imagine green is good and done?
Green is complete, and white is either in design or we're working on it, and yellow is also in progress.
Okay, thank you.
Red Bank High, finished up the facilities there, the athletic facility for the wrestling and football renovation. I don't know if you've been by East Ridge High School. That was a big project this summer. You can really see a before and after on one hallway where we've torn out the hard ceiling, and the other hallway where we've put acoustical ceiling and the new LED lights. It's really brightened that atmosphere up. Another big project, the softball field drainage. I'm sure you're aware we had about a 60-inch culvert that collapsed in the outfield of the softball field there, so we got that repaired. Baseball field lights, Hunter Middle. Gary, you and I talked about Central High on the track bleachers. That's on me. We're gonna circle back and hit that one hard. We have moved those bleachers up the hill, down the hill, looked at different designs, ran into a couple issues with, or questions permitting with the city. So that's one of those projects we gotta get going. Ooltewah High track replacement complete. Controls, so you'll see controls on the list. That's HVAC controls. So think of it as a very sophisticated thermostat. And it's been a learning curve for me where you can have brand new equipment, but if you don't have controls to control that equipment, they're just as important to keep the air conditioning operational. Again, Lookout Valley Elementary, that's another great example of the roof. And we did the roof and the ceiling and the lights similar to East Ridge. Huge improvement in the school's atmosphere. We're doing system-wide painting, so we've done a lot of painting projects where just trying to catch up on routine. This is a good example of some routine maintenance that we haven't had the opportunity to do. So we painted, I think we're probably a quarter, maybe halfway through that budget line item. I'm gonna check on Hardy Elementary. Remind me, Mary Ellen, where we are with that. That was that, playground partnership, trust for public land. My guys marked it complete. We need to circle back and we got, that one's good, okay. McConnell Elementary, we have broken ground. I don't know if you've been by there. We have the contractor on site, fencing's up, and we're actually moving dirt.
That's Hardy Elementary was the playground?
Yes, ma'am.
You completed it or you in progress? What did you say? Cause I was,
I'm gonna check on Hardy. I know we did Eastside, and we have one working on Hardy, and I need to check and see where.
I don't think it's complete. I remember the sign, of course, but I don't think the playground was.
Yeah, we'll circle back. We did do a sign at Hardy.
Yeah,
the-
you did
the
a sign,
digital
that's completed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saudi Elementary auditorium roof, Saudi High, against Saudi High. Weight room renovation, I think that turned out nice. Let's see here, that Hillcrest Security, we're working around some, personnel there. It's actually harder in some of the buildings that stay occupied all the time to work around our staff. Normal Park elevator, Normal Park windows. Again, the controls, it's a sizable number, but again, I can't emphasize how important that is to operational of the HVAC system. We're only in phase 2. I'll start zipping through here. McConnell, yeah, we went on McConnell. Hickson High. So this is our current turf football field. We've got a couple photos. So we did Hickson High, CSAS, and Central. So we bundled those together. Those are looking at August completion. Hickson High, we are looking for the 21st to give them a week to practice for that first game on the 28th. CSAS, again, tied in. I think CSAS is going to be a little later in the year. We've talked to the principal about some temporary practice facilities. It's a larger project. You've got a baseball field and a soccer field and also concession and restrooms that we had to install.
And are the bathrooms for that still gonna be under the bleachers, or how are they doing the restrooms?
I'll show you a picture. Those bleachers are gone. So
Okay.
part of,
That's all clear.
yeah. So the scope of the project, the old bleachers were demoed. We have a new retaining wall, new set of bleachers in front of the retaining wall. And then the new building is restrooms, concession, and a small changing
Okay,
area.
so it's all in.
It's all gone. Central Turf. Ooltewah High restroom. We actually bid that project. It came in way over budget. We are gonna look at doing that with some in-house forces. And again, system-wide are things that we know, system-wide paving, flooring, things that we know we're gonna come across throughout the year. We can't put a hard project on it, but we use those funds yearly. Normal Park Energy Grant, I think you saw, we got the energy grant through TVA. We're gonna tie this into the same contractor that's doing the LED lighting for the entire district, so it made sense while they're here, expedite the process. The LED lighting we're gonna touch on here on these next slides. So I've got 500,000 listed, but just a reminder, that's one piece. It's a very interesting financial piece there where 500,000 of capital, we've got a $5 million loan. We have donated lamps from TVA, and we also have about a $700,000 TVA incentive grant that is all combined in that grant. for
What
that-
did you
for that
say about
project.
you're gonna allow the company that's doing something to do that? Say that again.
So we have the LED lighting, we've already have a company on site doing, and we'll cover that in a second. We're doing about 34 schools, so it made sense to use that same company to pick this one up as well, for cost reasons, for schedule reasons. They're called Excel Energy Group.
Is the cost the same, smaller?
What do you mean?
I mean, are they charging the same as they did for the other schools?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So again, economy of scale. They're doing 34 schools, tacking on one, and it's actually under a cooperative contract. So lighting upgrades, just touching on that. Do we have any questions on the projects? That's the last phase, phase 5. Any questions?
I don't see a Hickson High School gym on there anywhere.
Yeah. We started with the turf field.
Okay.
So lighting upgrades, again, we'll have to go through all of these, but just for information, you can see where we are with your schools. I don't know their rhyme or reason for which schools they decided to do first. I just said, however we can do this project the quickest. So again, the faster that we complete the project, the faster we're going to see the energy savings, which ties in with the loan, and hopefully we'll have this project complete by the end of November. So been really impressed with this group. Again, Excel Energy Group, they're working 12-hour days, 7 days a week. They do have breaks where they give their crews breaks in between. They're running 2 crews, but yeah, they move pretty swiftly. They've been pretty impressive. So moving on, our sorry.
Hold on one second.
Before we
Mr.
get to
Connor?
this, yeah, I just wanted to ask about the lighting. I had some folks actually reach out to me asking about the lighting and the brightness of the lighting and being almost too bright in the rooms. And I just wanted to ask you about this because we're doing it all throughout them. Has there been anything taken into account about like the proper way that kids should be under a light and how much light there should be? Because it's very hospital-like in here, but is this the best way for a classroom? And like, are we addressing that in this lighting situation? I have had multiple people ask me about it, so it's kind of weird. So I wanted to ask.
Yeah, I mean, there's typically a range, a lumen range, but I think if you ask teachers, you'll get multiple different opinions. In some cases, we've added dimmers. Like our new schools, we're going to dimmers, so they do have the option to.
And that's not something that can be added in with these lights?
We don't have it in this particular scope, but I would say we would look at, case-by-case basis.
Okay.
Usually we're going 1-for-1 light. It was a 28 watt tube bulb that we're replacing with an LED, either flat panel or standard LED light.
I'll leave this on until he's done with the next part because I'd love to go first, but I will be noting how old a lot of my buildings are and the need for some of those adjustments. So thank you.
And I will say, I meant to mention, if you're not on the list, it either means they already have LED lights or we're planning LED lights with a future renovation.
Okay. And just a reminder to the public, we got a grant for this, but we also had to put a little bit of money out to do it. But that pays for itself in how many years, and then we actually start saving?
The loan, I believe, is a 12-year loan, but it is cash flow positive.
Right.
So you're basically paying the loan back with your energy savings. So your annual loan payment is, I think, $570,000 or $550,000. Your annual energy savings is projected to be $570,000, $580,000. So you're
Okay.
over those 12
Net
years.
zero.
Yeah. You'll be net zero after 12 years, yeah.
Okay. All right.
So moving on, this is the larger bond projects, and starting with Franklin Roberts, we have that on the next board meeting for the CMAR selection. That is to select the CMAR to move into pre-construction. They've already had some discussion on schedule, so hoping to start demo and do a first phase with the GMP. GMP is guaranteed maximum price. So to expedite this schedule, we're looking at doing 2 GMPs or two phases. So glad for Mary Ellen. She's going to kill me on some of these dates probably, but And then the phase two, looking at starting April and wrapping up in June of, I says 2008, it should be 2028.
So I have a question on that.
Yeah. You got a question on
so-
2028?
So the phase one GMPI, will the CMAR be responsible for that, or will we still be responsible for that?
For which part?
As far as the, determining the, the demolition, construction, prep and that, we're hiring a CMAR. That we're gonna vote on Thursday.
Correct.
Will that person then take over these duties and be responsible for demolition and construction and that? All right,
Yes, sir.
so really we're kind of,
So the CMAR acts as estimator, basically a team effort to go over early scope. So they come in early in the process, design development, or schematic, design development, construction drawings. And then we'll issue, it's that guaranteed maximum price package. And so that package that they will bid, and we'll have to bring it back for approval, will include demolition, and I call it construction prep. So demolition of all the existing interior walls. They prefer to do their own abatement. They, basically getting it, that's the beauty of a CMAR. You can phase it like this before the drawings are completely finished. We know we're gonna demo, let's go ahead and do a phase to demo, and that'll buy us several months. So yeah, so
That's what I
essentially
was curious
the CMAR, once you get to the GMP phase, becomes a general contractor.
okay.
Same.
All right.
So phase two, starting in April 2027, that should be June of 2028. Clifton Hills, we've got MTA under contract doing a phase zero. Again, we've talked about that, a lot of flood questions, floodplain questions. One big piece of information I think it's gonna be tonight is determination on how we're affected by the new flood laws that are coming. So hopefully, once we have that information, I would say another 3 to 4 weeks, we can pull a report together. Saudi Daisy Middle, we are under construction on the access road, sewer, electrical relocation, and demo of the one bottom wing. That was in GMP 1. We're working on GMP 2. I think we're looking at bidding it middle of September, try to get it on the October board meeting so they can start work around October for that phase 1. So GMP 2 is this. GMP 1 is the site package. GMP 2 will be the remaining of the building and actually 2 phases. So in this project, the first phase is the back classroom wing. We move the students from the 2 remaining wings into the new wing. Once we have them moved in, that'll start phase 2, which is basically the front part of the building. So the front parking, building demo of the 2 wings, renovations to the parking lot, and final completion. So trying to better some of those dates. We did find a way. If you remember, we were in 2029 when we first started this project. Working with the CMAR and the school, we're able to, we think we can do a lot of interior renovation in phases with the school, move some teachers around, move some students around. But I want to improve on that phase 1 GMP 2. So
I was up there Saturday, it looks good. I was up there Saturday,
yeah,
come in Card Road, took some pictures. It looks
they're
good.
getting close. Yeah, I think by October, that first phase we'll have some building pad and we'll be ready for.
Where is
so-
it, the access road? Where is it?
Card Road.
So that's over behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did we ever do anything with the main entrance there by the church?
This will greatly increase our stacking and our parking. We're gonna extend probably 60, 70 feet. And, but no, the scope of this work does not go out
See,
into the church.
we pick kids up there in the afternoon for one of my programs, and that, they're lined up all the way down, 27, almost to the fire hall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, so when we tear those wings down, that parking lot is gonna circle out and back around. We're gonna increase the width of the lane so we can stack. Yep.
The
get 'em
police
off the road.
department are good with that.
They are, but it's a
It
lot
should be,
fine.
oh, but right now it's terrible.
Should see a big improvement there. Moving on to North River. I was gonna say, yes, we have North River, that GMP, phase 1 will be on this board meeting, which will include basically a whole civil package. So when I say civil package, earthwork, paving, underground utilities, building pad, dirt, basically getting everything in the ground ready for that next package. That next package will be masonry, the actual building, the construction. So, again, would like to start in September. They're looking at about a year for that entire civil package, but if you can see, our phase 2 overlaps phase 1 in February. So getting started in February on the building construction to be ready for that August 2028 turnover. Brainerd, so we're early on Brainerd. We did have our selection for the CMAR at the last school board meeting. So these are very, very early schedule projections and phasing. Very complicated project. This actually has 4 phases. Right now, we're looking at 1 guaranteed maximum price, bidding it all as one, probably have several alternates. Just walking through, Caritza, you're probably mostly interested in this, but starting in that back wing, moving kids to the front wing, renovating the back wing, and then also phasing our domestic water. Our goal is to put a new water line in, and from the boiler room in that back section, as we're renovating, bring that water line through the building. Things like that are really making this one a little more complicated. So phase 2, you move to the front wing, an auditorium. Phase 3, the softball field and the new parking. That's later in the project because that's I think gonna be a lot of their laydown area is that front parking lot. It's already tore up. We need to repair it. That's a great place for a job trailer, equipment, that type of thing. And then finally, the last phase is the existing gym, band area. Looking at doing something in the courtyards, basically everything on the right-hand side, the CTE area in the back section there. So again, I would say this may change 2 or 3 more times, but that's the early guess at that.
This one surprised me. I didn't think it was supposed to be that long.
Oh, yeah, they had told us, August 8th, it's about.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, this is the challenge of phasing, if it
Right,
completely
right.
empty, it would be different, so. And in, just a couple of, tying in with athletics, that top left you were talking about, Gary, that's where the old stadium was. There's a new retaining wall there. I thought they did a good job of matching with the colors of the building. So where you see that mini X or that Traco, there was gonna be a new stadium right in front of the retaining wall. Joe, don't freak out, but that's Hickson last week, top right.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I go
gravel.
by there every day.
So
They're about done.
they've got it greened out. They worked all weekend. They've got turf down, and again, looking for the 21st, wrapping that one up. Very bottom, kind of a bird's eye. I think Tim James took that picture of Central, and then we've got an aerial there that the contractor took. So that one's wrapped up, game ready for 21st.
All right.
A lot of info. Sorry.
We do have Mr. Connor, and so if anybody else has any questions after, just light your light up.
Thank you, Chair. Oh. Okay, fine. Sorry, it didn't turn off the first 2 times I pressed it. You don't have to slide the slides back, but just asking, what are we expecting them to do with the flooding at Clifton Hills? Do we expect it to come back better for us to build, or what's the expectation?
I think at minimum, we'll still be under FEMA guidelines.
Yeah.
So I think that's 2 feet above floodplain. I think there were questions of moving to. I'm sorry, it's 1 foot. And then the new regulations were a possibility to go to 2 feet. You have to be 2 feet. The other big question was, if you fill in a site, whatever you put in, you gotta pull out. In other words, if I wanna raise this 5 feet over here, I've gotta pull 5 feet.
To
over
create
here.
space for the water to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, that's the big
Retention ponds and
questions.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just, you seemed excited about that, like maybe it was not the way we had said before, and it might be.
I think there'll, it probably will not be as stringent, but I think it will still be, again, you can't get out of the FEMA.
Yeah, no, I want
Yeah.
the kids to be safe and not in a flood zone, for sure. I just that's why I was asking why we thought maybe we were getting different things, because I know even at Red Bank, they've just fixed the creek behind there to mitigate for flooding, so, okay. The second thing is, Dr. Robertson knew this was coming, but I say that absolutely it's great that we are going to partner with the YMCA. I've said this to numerous people. I think the idea of getting to develop third graders on how to swim is going to save lives in our community. I wish that all of our schools had a way to do that. And I can't wait till we get the 20-day numbers back to add this back up. But we continue to see growth in District 6 and the southern area of District 3. Rivermont's never closing. There's no way it's going to close. There's not the possibility of us having enough seats for the children that live in that district. I've said it 1,000 times, but I'm going to say it every single time that it talks about closing Rivermont. And then coming over, I want to say thank you for this project at CSAS. I know that this is Jackie's district, but I've got a lot of constituents who go to CSAS, and this, I've personally toured through there with Jackie, and it used to be abysmal. It was scary. It looked like a jail that you saw in horror movies down there where they had soccer locker rooms. So this is huge. And I can't wait till Normal Park is on this one, and we're talking about how we're adding magnet seats for our whole community with the expansion there. So thank you.
All right, thank you for that presentation. A lot going on and a lot more ahead. So that is pretty much what we have here. We talked about the turfs. Dr. Robertson, is there anything you wanted to add? or-
Yes, sir. I just wanted to make an announcement for the community, and I've talked to several of you, including Ms. Thomas, about this, but we are going to schedule some community meetings to discuss the possibility and a recommendation to move Orchard Knob Middle School to the old Howard Middle School building. We're looking at August 27th is the first one of those meetings that we'll hold at Orchard Knob Middle School, probably start at 4:30. We'll have multiple opportunities to engage in that. I know that Ms. Thomas has spoken about having some of her own opportunities to engage with the community on it. We'll send surveys out, but just wanted to publicly state that so that we can start having that conversation. In all likelihood, if a recommendation did come back to the board to vote, it looks like it would most likely be November. At the earliest would be October. But just wanted to let the community know to be looking for that information so that we can engage them as we explore that possibility.
Can I speak?
Yes, go
I
ahead.
just want to also indicate, as Dr. Robertson said, that is what he's doing, but I also want to just state for the record that I am in total opposition of moving Orchard Knob Middle School to Howard Connect. And I also think that this was and I've expressed this, I just feel that it's something that's happened all of a sudden now quickly to me. There's some, when the concerns get expressed about a school that has been neglected for so long, and the resolution is to move them out of their district. I just think it's shameful. But we have done a lot of things, in my opinion, it's shameful. At least the community will get to voice their opinion. But the timeliness of it, the quickness of it, it's a concern for me. And just the fact moving people out of their district because no other schools, no other students are being displaced. Or the possibility of thinking or talking about being displaced, I just find it to be alarming. And I want to state that for the record.
And so help me understand a little better. if we were to move students, we're not talking about moving them this school year, are we?
No, sir. That's why
Okay.
we'd bring it in
6 months later, what
November. It would
difference
be
does it make?
August of 2027, so we're wanting to start this conversation early. That way, if the decision is made to relocate Orchard Knob to Howard Middle School,
Okay.
maintenance team would have plenty of time to make sure that's a smooth transition. And if we don't decide to do it, we're not spending all year debating it. It's a conversation that we can get past and get through. I want to be clear. I've said this multiple times lately. It's the board and the administration are not always going to agree. What I do think is my responsibility is to bring to you what I believe are sound recommendations that are good for kids. What I know is we've got 300 kids at Orchard Knob Middle School in a building that is subpar, and we've got a building that's 2 miles down the road that's built for 550 kids that was just renovated 6 years ago and is in better shape than probably 70% of our buildings. There's nothing that we're trying to do behind closed doors. It's why I'm announcing this publicly. It's why I'm telling you when you can expect to vote, when we're gonna have community conversations. But I do think it is my responsibility as the superintendent is to bring recommendations to you that are in best interest of kids. And I think that this is a conversation that we should explore.
All right. Ms. Jones?
So, because I won't be here in November, October, so just from my understanding, I don't know, I might be. Speak about it.
Might be in the audience.
Right, probably on the agenda. However, my question is, in moving, is this a temporary solution or is this a permanent thing? Because then would it be Orchard Knob Middle School at Howard, or are you gonna change the name to Howard Middle School? Like what?
Yeah, I mean, those are conversations that we need to have. Right now, the recommendation would be to move Orchard Knob Middle School to the old Howard Junior High side of the building where Howard Connect was there. This is where we've got to have conversations. I don't know that it's indefinitely, but right now we're talking about projects that aren't going to be finished for 5 years with the bond that was approved 2 years ago. The next time that we'll have money available for us to even bring a recommendation forward to restore, replace whatever Orchard Knob we want to do on that property, that next bond's most likely 2 to 3 years down the road. And then if you add on another 4 years, that means we're leaving kids in that building for 7 years when literally 2 miles down the road we have a great building.
But we just did the gym floor and stuff, right? So what
Yeah.
happens there? Like if they go?
I think that's what we want to go to the community to have conversations about, to see what parts of that building could continue to serve the community. I think the gym is a great example of one that, Saturday mornings in the fall and in the winter, it's almost always being used. We just put new floor down. We just put new bleachers in. We certainly want to continue to use that as a community asset, but that's really what, if we make the decision to move, then we need to have a conversation with the community about what do they want to see take place on that property and that building in the meantime until possibly down the road we need a new school on that property.
Okay, so, well, I mean, I guess I could just come to, I think I'm just concerned about access right in your community to busing kids out. But you mentioned the word bond. And you're not gonna be able to answer this because what you said is what we're typically told. However, it's quite interesting. County Commission last week, I think it was, that bond money was used to do a turf field at Nolan, and bond money was used to knock down some yard over for this Rivermont school, which were not priorities of this board, but bond money was found for that. So this is not really to you, this is to go on the record because the news probably don't catch this. It's very odd to me how bond money can be found for pet projects of certain governmental officials. But when we have needs, like Mr. Wick just went through a whole packet of stuff. And this ain't even, like he said, the last time I seen a deferred maintenance book, it looked like a set of encyclopedias. But we found, but it was found, bond money was found for a cosmetic situation and a potential promise that someone other than this governing board made. And so once again, as some of us leave this dais, I want it to be clear to the public that oftentimes your concerns to this dais are not falling on deaf ears. It's just that somebody else's ears hear something different and they prioritize it that way. Very disheartening to me because we don't have the money to fix a school that my 76-year-old mother went to in the 60s. We're just now tearing down a field at CSAS that she graduated from in 1968 at Riverside. But we can find money for a turf field at an elementary school. We have kids at Barger walking down halls where if it storms, it may or may not be raining on their head, or they might be breathing mold and asbestos. But we can find money to clear land. And I'm not saying that Rivermont, Alpine Crest, and DuPont don't need another school. I mean, we know Alpine Crest would love to stay where they are. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying when you talk about priorities and what matters for all children in Hamilton County, no one but the people on Signal Mountain are benefiting from a turf field at Nolan Elementary School. No one yet, and we even know this from this prognosis, is going to benefit from them trees being knocked down at DuPont. But we got kids that we're already planning because we don't have the ability to say we can bond this money, but some other people do, and they don't really clearly care. But we're going to find money to pay for buses to bus kids out of their neighborhood across town. And it may seem 5 miles away. I hear all of that. I hear all of that. But I've sat here many days when we looked at rezonings because we were overcrowded and some people didn't want their kids to get on a bus. But now, and I hear you because I don't want them in a subpar building either, but I don't know that busing them is the issue. I mean, it's the answer. And I hear you.
Well,
No disrespect. I just don't know that busing is an issue. I mean, it's a solution. Because I'm wondering, could that money that went to a turf field at Nolan been put with the money that we put in the gym at Archer Knob to help change something that was going on at Archer Knob, or to maybe just patch some of the stuff at Barger? I mean, the money that was put in signs to make sure that people knew about a school. I mean, I'm on a soapbox right now, and it ain't even about you. But I just feel like when people can find money to do what they want to do, but they don't hear what we're saying we want to do, that's a problem for me. And it's going to be a problem for me when I become a full taxpayer and constituent on the next month, because that's a problem for me. And I'll go to those governing bodies and have that conversation because I know that this governing body has already advocated for those things. But I want the public to understand where they need to be taking their voices, because this governing body here made a priority list. And it ain't popped up on the commission agenda yet. But some kind of way, right before election day, here comes 2 things on an agenda. It's very disheartening. Matter of fact, it's just sickening. And I have to say that it's just very sad. It's very sad that we were the bus kids. Oh no, we have to make decisions to bus kids. I'm not gonna say that we have to make those decisions because we don't get to decide how we can use bond money.
Dr. Robertson?
Yeah, I just want to clarify a couple things. One, we're not changing zones. So I hear what you're saying, busing, which comes across with, you know, a lot
how they
of
gonna get there? If I live
connotation.
on Highland Park Avenue, how am I get to?
They're going to get on the same bus that's going to go
But
2 miles down the
if I used to
road.
walk up the street, now I got to
Yeah.
get on a bus to go to school.
But the same will be true for kids that are closer to Howard that now could walk to school. So it goes, but when you're saying busing, it brings about the connotation that we're sending people across town. It's not what we're doing.
Justin,
I would
you're
not
taking
recommend
them
it.
out of their neighborhood. Although you're giving them a safer building, And I hear what you're saying.
There-
But I'm
there-
telling you, the community, what I'm saying to you, because I care about you,
Yep.
and all y'all in here, is what the community already saying. You're gonna bust those kids to Howard. I'm just gonna tell you in your face. I'm not gonna get on Facebook. I'm not gonna get on the radio. I'm not gonna call in. I care enough about Justin Robertson and his team that I'm gonna tell you in your face that it looked like you busing kids out of their neighborhoods to another school. I may agree and understand, but the public don't understand that because historically for that community, that's what happens. And I don't believe that you believe that it's the right thing to do per se, but I know that you believe that the right thing to do is for them to be in a building that they deserve.
That's right. It's exactly right.
Right. And so
that's
my
what
rant,
I'm
my rant a
taking.
few minutes ago wasn't to you, Justin. It was about people that make the decision. And you can sit, and we say this all the time, you can sit there and defend them. I don't care. Right is right and wrong is wrong.
I just want to clarify for the record that we are not changing a zone.
I didn't say you were, but you could take the kids out of a neighborhood.
I know, and to the point of like, if I didn't believe this was a good conversation to have, I wouldn't bring it because it's going to be hard. I know how hard it is. I've been through rezoning, which is real hard. I've been through consolidating schools, which is difficult. This is not either one of those, but I equally think it's going to be a difficult conversation. But I don't think I'm doing my job unless I push our team to say what's the right thing to do here. And the right thing is to have this conversation, whether we move forward with it or not. We, in my opinion, have a responsibility to have hard conversations in order to make the best decision for kids in our community, to your point, given the resources that we have.
Right. And that's why I said my statement wasn't for you per se, it was for the public.
Not taking.
Right.
I would just like to say again, I think there is conversation. You can have hard conversations, but what you also have to understand is a community that's tired of everybody else telling them what is best for them. Also, a community that has been neglected for so long. It's a catch-22. You're dang if you do, and you're dang if you don't. You're dang if you say, hey, I agree, they do deserve a better building. They do, but they deserved a better building with all these problems eliminated 10 years ago, 5 years ago, however you want to say. And now that the building is so in disarray or so many concerns about it, that from the air that we approved $6 million, but we're not doing it because we're going to hold out. Let's see if we can move you first before so we can reallocate that $6 million somewhere else. And then to say we're going to use part of the building but not all of the building when that building can be there while you build a new one in front. I just want to, I wish all the options, and I understand about bond, Justin, and I understand what you're saying. But I just want to say that. Is you have an obligation to say, hey, this is what I think, but a community has an obligation to say also what they desire and what they think is best. And everybody seems to be making the decisions for a community. And I appreciate the fact that you're wanting them to have a voice. But however long that goes, I still think it is something that's being quickly done. And I know we've talked about it and got out and all that kind of stuff that created a stir. But I just want to say to this board, stop doing what's right for people that your friends or whatever, and do what's right for children. And if time comes up for that vote and that's what happens, if that's what the community wants, it will be stated for the record. It is something I did not want for that community because I am so tired of it being a displaced community and no one else. Signal Mountain, who's saying they're overcrowded, Orchard Knob has room. Nobody wants to come down the mountain to go there. You have other schools that are overcrowded. No one wants to come there. And so my concern is we are building a new vocational school. Yet we do not have the money to build this area, a community, a new school. And while they can remain in part of that school or that school while one is built in front of it, I don't understand other than you're saying we don't have the money or the commission has not allowed us to utilize bonds. But I can get on the soap opera too, you know how I feel, but I just wanted to say that.
All right. And with that, we are adjourned.